بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And welcome back to another special program. And in this program, inshallah, we will be speaking about Africa Muslim Agency. Together with brother Hussein Shunara, who's the Regional Director of Africa Muslim Agency, inshallah, will shed more light on the activities of Africa Muslim Agency. Assalamu alaikum, Hussein.
Wa alaikum salam, Sheikh. Shukran for having us.
Alhamdulillah, good to be with you and to speak to you about the amazing efforts which Africa Muslim Agency is doing in order to facilitate the lives of people and help them in various parts of the world. In the beginning, if you just shed more light on Africa Muslim Agency as an organization, when did it start and where it's serving?
Alhamdulillah, Sheikh. Shukran for the opportunity. Africa Muslims Agency this year commemorates 35 years.
MashaAllah.
And as the slogan goes, of empowering, educating and inspiring communities in South Africa and across the continent of Africa. You know, Alhamdulillah, Amma was started 35 years ago by my late dad, Marhum, Allah grant him Jannah, the late Dr. Abdul Rahman Sumait as well, and Sheikh Sar al-Talib. And that's when Amma started in January 1987. So this year, alhamdulillah, 35 years of Amma in South Africa. And of course, the tentacles reaching out onto the continent of Africa. And over recent years, into places and having a permanent base in places like Afghanistan and Lebanon and Palestine, Yemen and Lebanon, inshallah.
Mashallah. We're talking about an international organization
Yes.
that surpasses the borders and help everywhere.
Yes.
Right. Currently, in how many countries Africa Muslim Agency is supporting people?
Well, our Ramadan campaign is focused on 14 countries.
Oh, this
Ramadan, we
Ramadan
focus on 14 countries.
MashaAllah.
And this is not only for Ramadan, this is also beyond Ramadan, that the work in these countries continues. Whether it is, and I think the viewers would know, Sheikh, that in Africa we build water wells. Alhamdulillah, over 35 years, thousands and thousands of water wells have been built across the continent. What that means simply is that villages across Africa have had access to clean, drinkable water, masjids, Islamic centers, schools. People have received education. There's many examples of students that have come from these villages, whether in South Africa or across the continent, where they've come through the ranks and through the structures of Amma. They've studied, gone to schooling, they've studied internationally as well, and now have their own practices or their own degrees and giving back to the community their own right as well. So across Africa, it's masjids, Islamic centers, boreholes, sustainable projects that empower and uplift communities. Or whether it is now in Lebanon, where we have a school that facilitates formal education for children, especially orphan children, Syrian and Palestinian refugees, or the bakeries that we run in Afghanistan and Lebanon as well.
And you also, in Africa Muslim Agency, also help nationally as well.
In South Africa, absolutely, this is where we start. In South Africa, we partner with 250 community-based organizations.
MashaAllah.
And what it means simply is that we supply and we support, whether it be through Ramadan hampers, whether it be with hampers throughout the year, or with winter coming, with winter packs and blankets, or whether it be with food, whether it be with dignity kits to provide young girls sanitary packs. And this happens again, not only in South Africa, but again throughout the world. But it's these different campaigns, and it starts right here in South Africa.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. We know our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. The best of people is this one who's more beneficial to people. So everyone, inshallah, is invited to be part of Africa Muslim Agency by donating and supporting. Coming to this year's campaign, you're titling it Imagine. Can you just explain to us about this campaign, inshallah, for this year?
Well, it's to invite every single one of you, like you said, Sheikh, to invite the people to be part of the Imagine campaign, to imagine a world where people, millions of people in 14 countries around the world, this Ramadan, have access to food and water. And sometimes it is beyond just the food, beyond the tangible of that food or the water. Yes, that's important for nourishment. For the soul, for the human being, to quench the thirst, or to remove the hunger. But it's about imagining a world that provides dignity, whether it's dignity to a father who is looking at his children and thinking of how he's going to feed his children. It's that dignity. Whether it's dignity, whether it's saving the dignity of a mother or of a widow who's left in the mountain of Afghanistan, currently open to abuse, but with having that food, you protect her. So it's protecting her, it's protecting that orphan child. We're saying that the future of children is, the children need education. for the future, for the betterment of the future, right? How, Sheikh, how do we expect children to learn if they're going to school on an empty stomach? They need food. So it's about that. It's about taking away the basic essential needs so that people can focus, especially in this month on the ibadah, to focus on other things in life, in bettering their circumstances. So it's imagining that world and imagining how the viewer, the donor, can be part of that, inshallah, by supporting, by donating.
What are you asking people to donate towards it exactly in the campaign?
We're asking them to donate towards feeding, whether they can feed one person, like for 100 rand, they can feed one person for iftar and suhoor. You can feed a family for an entire month of Ramadan, 1,500 rand. They'll also get a blanket as well for winter. And that takes a family of 6 right up until Eid, inshallah. So this we can of 1,500 rand. Or somebody might decide, Sheikh, to say, I want to feed a village. I want to feed a refugee camp. Or a community. You can choose to feed a community for 15,000 rand per day.
That's different from feed a village, or the same?
It's the same. So the village, the community, and the camp is the same. Roughly how many people will benefit from that? 3,500 to 4,000 people will benefit from feeding a village or a community or a refugee camp, inshallah.
MashaAllah. Ramadan campaign is in 14 countries, as you mentioned. If you can just mention some of the names of these countries.
So we start in South Africa, our neighbors in Lesotho, Mozambique, Malawi, Mali, Uganda, we're talking Palestine, Yemen, Afghanistan, Syria, Turkey, Lebanon. When we talk about these countries, Sheikh, immediately to mind you think of, when you say Afghanistan, you're thinking of a country of 4 decades of conflict. You say Yemen, you think of the largest humanitarian crisis. You think of Palestine, and we know too well the challenges that's happening right there, right now. We're talking about.
Let's take Yemen for example.
Yes.
Just to give an insight to our viewers. What is the situation currently on the ground in Yemen?
Sheikh, in the areas that we're working in is where people have sought refuge moved away from conflict zones, conflict areas, and have sought refuge in mountainous areas, like in the southwest of Yemen, in the area called Zamar. It's a mountainous area, desert area, but people there need support. We're finding many families there. Some of them, the men in the family are physically challenged, unable to work, and just getting up every day, struggling to survive, looking to survive the next day. No access to food, no access to water. No, there's no infrastructure in place.
How do you ensure that the donations of people and whatever supports allocated to them will reach those people in different parts of the world?
Alhamdulillah, good question, Sheikh. The good thing, alhamdulillah, about being 35 years in operation, we have permanent bases in these countries. So it's not sending someone from South Africa to go there.
You have people there.
The teams are permanently based there. We have structure there. We have infrastructure there. We have teams there. And it's not just Ramadan again. It's ongoing projects throughout the year, whether it's orphan, whether it's udhiyah. It's ongoing projects throughout the year that run throughout the year. So there's permanent teams, not only fulfilling the niyyah, for example, in Africa, building a water well, but ensuring that water well, a borehole, is functional. So if the floods come and damages it, we fix it. We maintain it. We ensure the water well is always working. For example.
MashaAllah. So basically, it's not about Ramadan only, but you're also maintaining and supporting those families, for example,
yes,
even after Ramadan.
Even after Ramadan. Now, after Ramadan, for example, we have bakeries in Afghanistan and Lebanon that run every single day. For example, in Lebanon, 122,000 loaves. Sheikh, you'll be familiar with the pita bread. I enjoy the bread so much. It's a thick bread. I really enjoy it. But our bakeries in Lebanon and Afghanistan manufacture these kind of breads for families. That we have a system of who's coming to receive.
It's a shami bread. Is a different
bread,
type of bread.
Beautiful bread. And one packet of 7 pitas in each, that each family receives twice a day in different countries, whether it's Lebanon, Afghanistan. So this happens throughout the year, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. We know that the best of sadaqah obviously is that sadaqah which is giving to the people who are in dire need. And these communities, as you're mentioning, they are in dire need, and they need the support of people. And the South African people, mashallah, very generous when it comes to supporting people and feeding them, etc. Now, speaking about the campaign in South Africa, maybe also you should more light on the campaign in South Africa.
In South Africa, like I mentioned, we support with a network with more than 250 community-based organizations. So before Ramadan already, alhamdulillah, what happened is our hampers and blankets have already been distributed to the different cities, towns, and farm areas across South Africa. And before Ramadan, the bulk of the hampers, tens of thousands of hampers have been given out to the organizations, to different madaris, masjids, community organizations, so the people before Ramadan already received their hampers, which will last them into Ramadan. And of course, throughout the Ramadan, the need increases, as we know too well.
Of course.
So that is now added, and the officers and the teams and the staff and volunteers are active throughout the month. So every single day, whether in Johannesburg or Cape Town or Durban or Newcastle or Polokwane or Ermelo, doesn't matter where, the teams are out there almost every day with iftar programs, whether it's at universities, so working in the townships, in the areas that need food. And these iftar programs are ongoing. And the listeners and the viewers can join in, go to our website, contact our officers, and find out how you can be part of participating in these programs.
So people can go to the website and choose the campaign and donate to each campaign.
Absolutely. AfricaMuslimsAgency.co.za, the websites are alongside us. Go to the website and you can choose whether you want to be part of the Imagine campaign, Zakah, Sadaqah Lillah, or you can choose to sponsor an orphan with formal education, or you like to do sponsor a water well or a borehole. Because this Ramadan, Sheikh, we've identified 950 villages that need water this Ramadan.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. After the break, we will be speaking and shedding more light on this, inshallah. We're just going to be taking a short break. We will come back after this. Stay with us.